Welcome to Thirsty Thursday, and today we have a special guest, Anthony Symington, which is a fifth generation family winemaker from Symington Estates in Six Grapes, part of the Graham's family port wine. We're going to talk everything port and how we can match it up perfectly for this holiday season.
Yeah, well, thanks. Firstly, thanks for having us on. It's a great honor to be joining you all the way from Porto, Portugal. I wish I could say it was sunny here, but it's been raining all day. Um, yeah, long story short, I'm fifth generation of my family to make port wine in the Douro Valley in northern Portugal. I know I look and sound British, but I'm also like part Portuguese. My grandmother's from Lisbon.
Oh,
Um,
man.
yeah, when I married my wife, we were living in London, and her colleagues were all very disappointed that I wasn't sort of tanned and olive skinned and just looked British. Um, but hopefully, the access to port wine helped sort of placate her and her friends. So yeah, our ancestor, my great great grandfather, arrived in Porto aged 18. There was a recession in Scotland, and there were no jobs, and his family couldn't afford to support him. So he moved to Porto by boat and started working as a cellar hand. He rose his way up and ended up running our family business. And here we are 5 generations later, just
Wow.
still focusing on what the core beliefs of quality and trying to make the best possible liquid in the bottle. And it's fantastic that talking to you on the east coast of the US, that we're now truly a global business.
That's amazing. And yes, for that longevity is very, I feel like that's the importance of it, that there's actual passion and love behind it because it stayed in the family. Because a lot of people could just get over it and move on from it, but I think that's the real investment is that care of the product.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. It's a labor of love, and we're truly passionate about it. I think the average of longevity of family businesses is 3 generations. So we're very mindful that we've got through that, and we only get through that through hard work and dedication. So there's no automatic jobs just for because you're a family member. You have to work outside the business for a number of years, earn the right to join, get experience, make mistakes, prove that you have something to give. And I think that has stood us in good stead. And ultimately, we're really lucky. We make wine and port wine. We're basically a bit like exactly the same as you, Lauren, in the food industry. We create memories, I think. I think we're really lucky to work in an area that helps people enjoy life with friends, family, and bring people together. We could be working in making pens or something. I don't know, something much less
Oh, no.
emotional and enjoyable. And I think food and wine, especially in today's economic climates, are more important than ever before. Because life is short, and what's better than spending fun times with family and friends?
You've taken the words out of my mouth because it's exactly how I live my life. And my family can attest to it. I'm the first one who's like, life is too short. Let's enjoy. And my favorite thing is to eat and to drink. I am known to enjoy my cocktails. Port wine's one of my favorite. And actually, well, first of all, living in the Douro region is stunning. I just brought my kids there last March.
Really?
Yeah, we did. We stayed at a quinta up on the hill, which I was petrified driving. Um, I Once we pulled in, my knuckles were so white from holding the steering wheel, but it is breathtaking to be able to live there. And Porto is one of my favorite cities. I actually enjoy it more than Lisbon, personally. I think the food scene, the history, the artwork, the architecture, it's breathtaking. When I tell people to go, they're like, this was like the best place to go ever.
Oh, well, I'm glad you share my love of it. I'm obviously biased. I was very lucky to grow up here. But yeah, I agree. I think the Douro Valley is one of the most beautiful regions in the world. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site for that reason. And Porto is great. It's a small town, but like you say, it's built on a culture of food and wine. So for anyone who has that same joy and that you do, it's the perfect place to go. It's small enough that you can get around on foot. It's still not destroyed by tourism, so it's very real and genuine. And um, and the Portuguese style of cooking, which you do better than anyone, is heroing the base ingredient, which is the key. So it's the quality of your meat or your fish or your vegetables are the key, and not
100%.
around that in too much other flavor.
Yeah, I think, and it goes hand in hand. So one thing I really like to do on my platform is educate and really just showcase other people's, you know, knowledge of things. And one thing I learned at a young age, which I really love, my grandfather always used to put a little bit of white port. Now this is not white port that you guys sent us, but in a glass because you drink that beforehand to open up, like an aperitif, to open up your palate. So I wanted to explain to the people like that watch, grams is the bigger umbrella and six grapes kind of falls under that, correct?
Correct. So six grapes is a bespoke style of wine, unique to Graham's. So it's basically the style. Graham's is the brand, and then Six Grapes is like the sub brand. It's the best wine that we make most years. It's called Six Grapes because even today, for example, when I work in the winery during the harvest time, when the grapes arrive, we're farmers. Making wine sounds glamorous, but ultimately we're farmers. We are just fortunate that with high quality crop, we can, with a bit of skill, turn it into wine. And so the best quality grapes, we stamp the logbook with between one and six bunches, and six is the best. And those are the wines that we make to be like a baby vintage port, like super opulent, ripe, rounded fruit. Like silky, just really enjoyable and Moorish.
And if someone was to never really know about port wine or hadn't really tasted it or tried it before, and they were like, oh, it's just like wine, what's the big difference of the aging process and the amount of sugar that goes into a port wine versus the regular wines that you guys produce?
So really good question. To step back a little bit, there's no added sugar in port. You
Okay.
start off exactly the same way that we start with red wine, for example. You pick your grapes, you start the fermentation, which is basically the process where the sugar in the fruit converts into alcohol by reacting with oxygen. With a normal red wine, you'd let that fermentation happen for about 2 weeks, leaving you with a wine anywhere between 12 and 14%. With port, we stop it after about 2 days by adding a grape spirit, and that stops that fermentation, which is why port's slightly sweeter because it's still got the natural grape sugar in there, some of it, and why it's fractionally more alcoholic because of that grape spirit. The grape spirit's colorless, tasteless. We're winemakers, we're not flavored drinks makers. We don't want to influence the wine. And hence why port is a fortified wine. It's basically been strengthened by this grape spirit, which makes it probably one of the more pairable dessert wines out there.
What so is it the same as white and red wine that the white port is just without the skins, the red
Exactly.
has the skins in it, and then as far as different flavor profiles, so I've tried different ports and some have some real depth of flavor, some are a little bit lighter even in texture. Is it just about the length of fermentation that you need with it?
No, so the length fermentation is about the same. It's then often about how we age it and make it. So, for example, Six Grapes here is a reserve ruby style. So it spends a few years in very, very large barrels. So it's to protect that primary fruit characteristic. We want to hero that fruit. So that like plummy, ripe, opulent flavor, violets on the nose that I mentioned. Perfect with dark chocolate or cheese, probably. Whereas some tawny styles, very different. They go into small barrels for about 10 years or more. And over that time, they slowly oxidize and they lose that dark color and they become a lighter shade of tawny. We're not
Yeah.
that in the port world, we call it tawny because it's tawny colored. And those primary fruit flavors probably evolve into like nutty almond, like salted toffee. And so if your six grapes you pair with dark chocolates, cheeses, maybe even fresh fruit. Your tawnies would maybe be more like creme brulees, ice cream, that kind of thing.
So that rich custardy kind of coat the
Totally.
mouth versus for that acidity to cut through. Okay.
Right, exactly.
So I'm gonna open mine up because I don't know about you, but I'm thirsty. Is now I have two glasses in front of me because I had a debate with someone about this, and I feel like you're the right person to ask. Is there a right glass or a wrong glass to drink port wine out of? And I know there's a port wine glass, but someone told me that it shouldn't matter as long as the base was wide. And I said, well, a port wine glass is more of that shape of the wine glass.
You raise a really good point. I'm really glad you say this. It's very easy in the wine world and the food world as well to be put up too many barriers to entry. Of course, there's the perfect glass, and there's a bad glass, but ultimately, it's we make it to be enjoyed by everybody. So I wouldn't worry too much about the different glassware as long as you're not
Okay.
using something very, very small, like the typical British old-fashioned port glasses are more like a shot glass on a stem.
Yeah,
And
they're like thin on top, right?
that's the problem. As long as the top of the glass is open to allow you to appreciate their flavors and the smells. As you know, about 70% of our sense of taste comes through our nose. So if you're drinking something that's minimum 5 years old through a shot glass, you're not getting the benefit of it. Whereas either the that lowball you've got or the traditional port would work very well, I think.
Well, I
Um,
popped the top, and I'll tell you right now, just sitting this close to it, the air just filled. Um, is there, so a lot of red wines, people believe that you need to aerate them and let them breathe. Do you think port wine, you need to do that, or you can just pour and sip right away?
You can pour and sip right away. If it's a vintage, you should decant it. But the majority of port, and it will say vintage on the bottle because it has sediment. All other port wines, you just they're ready to go. They're not even going to improve in your cellar. The cheap way of knowing is to look at the cork.
Okay.
So if the cork has a hard top on it, like your one or this one here, that
Yeah.
has like a mushroom top, I guess, that means that we've done all the aging for you. We filtered it, just put it in your glass, enjoy, and yeah, like we said at the beginning, create some memories, have a good time.
I think
Paris,
that's so important because people look at the end of the day, it's if you're going to spend money on something, even if anything, you want to know the best quality to serve it, to try it, to taste it. So by telling people that it's ready to go and you're entertaining and you want to put out something nice on the table to showcase, if you serve it the wrong way or you opened it 3 hours beforehand and let it aerate because you think it's the right way to do it, you might spoil the product. So I think that education is really important, especially buying something because this can last you a long time, can it not?
yeah, exactly. So you can have a glass of this because it's slightly oxidized and it's fortified, strengthened. You've got like 4 or 5 weeks once you pull the cork to enjoy the bottle. It's worth noting it's not a spirit, it's not a whiskey. You don't have a year or more, but you've got a month or so with a tawny a little bit longer, maybe 6 weeks.
Well,
Um,
this wouldn't last a month in my house.
It wouldn't last that long in my house either. I mean, this isn't even going to last the night, I don't think. One of
Yeah.
the reasons my
Oh,
wife married me was access to good port. So,
well, it's like I consider it the way my mom and my dad. It was always a nightcap.
mm,
It was an espresso, like a shadinho, like a little bit in your drink. Yes. But my mom is a port wine drinker. She loves it. So there was always something in, and that's why I actually have a whole set of these little
yeah,
glasses.
that's perfect.
They're great. We give the kids, well, for a toast, a little sip of champagne. These are the glasses that I'll use for like a big family thing. But I have so many of these because my mom would buy all different sets because she loved
Mm.
port wine. So I'm going to pour a little bit. It's a beautiful color.
I'm glad your parents did that. My first memories of port were with my grandfather as well. And after a Sunday lunch, we'd go around and all taste a little bit of his glass.
Oh, my
Um,
grandfather used to take his finger, dip it in, put it on our lips, and it was funny because I was saying even to my kids, used to put them on the gums like people did the whiskey. I was like,
mm,
but this port wine was sweet, so we used to put the pacifier in you, and all
yeah.
of a sudden, but even as a kid, my grandfather would do, it, and he goes, "This is how you sip it. You sip it slow, and then you go." So it was always a joke in our family that when you drank anything, especially sweet port, you go. But I love it with chocolate, triple cream cheese. But it's a beautiful color and very,
Really
very,
fun.
very nose. So two controversial questions. One, do you believe in putting ice in your port wine?
Um, no, well, I personally don't, but with a tawny port, always serve it slightly chilled. If you If it's not chilled, yeah, putting a big, like a one single big block in would probably be okay. Ideally, you'd keep it in the fridge.
Okay.
So you need to do that. And you serve it, and then it comes up slowly to temperature on the table as everyone's enjoying it. Um,
And then I think this is more of an American or more new generation question is, do you believe in making cocktails with a port wine?
Yeah, definitely. I think we each, the beautiful thing about food and wine is we've all got our own taste buds, our own preferences, and sometimes it just depends on the day, what you like and what you don't like. Port is a very versatile cocktail drink because of the sweetness and the acidity and the alcohol lend themselves to. We've made some really fun like port Negronis with the white port and tonic is probably the
That's
easiest.
my favorite.
Yeah, and it's half as alcoholic as gin, so you can have twice as many.
I had I catered a dinner party and we had a sommelier come in and she was Portuguese and her opening cocktail for everyone was the white port and tonic with mint and lime. And I had never had it that way and I don't love tonic by itself, but with the port it was so complimenting.
Yeah,
And actually, when I wrote a cookbook and when we did our cookbook launch party, that's what I wanted to serve as like one of the cocktails being passed around because I just think it was so complimenting, and it's light and it was sippable. And yes, you could have double than you can for gin. So cheers to that.
cheers to that. Yeah, I think you make a good point. I also don't like tonic by itself, and with Graham's, we created the first ever premium white port, and it's a half sweet style, and we try to get just the right level of sugar to balance with the bitterness in the tonic, so each one should cancel themselves out. So you're not getting something that's overly bitter from the tonic, the quinine, and not something that's too sweet from the port. And it should be a really harmonious, easy drinking aperitif, like you said.
Yeah.
Um, great start to the evening. Lunch.
So this is absolutely delicious, and it's definitely not going to last in my house. And because I always say I think port, I think winter, I think holiday. Obviously, we're in the season; 'tis the season. If people want to gift this, do you guys do through the distributor? Do you do like smaller bottles? Do you do different varieties?
We
What do
do
you
half size
suggest?
bottles. We do half size bottles, but I'd say the normal size 75 cl is probably the best sized to get. It's pretty widely available across the states in numerous different retailers, and I think it's your go-to most premium port of reserve ruby port available in the US at this moment, and different ones apply to different occasions. Like we said, white port maybe as an aperitif, tawny with probably more the warmer months. Christmas, I can't think of anything better than six grapes. I'm going to say something that's very unwinemakery, but in
Okay.
our whole range, I feel like this is the port that tries to give you a hug. It's just really cozy and comforting.
This
Um,
is delicious.
yeah,
And
exactly.
it's
That's what
actually
we
scary good. Like
do.
you don't need anything else. Like I'm sitting here like it's gonna be a good day today.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why we do it. It's why you cook. It's why we make wine. Is to help people enjoy their days.
So to round this out, what would be the one dessert or one thing you would pair this one with for the holiday season?
For the holiday season. Well, you're going to have to tell me what an American dessert would be. In Portugal, maybe rebanadas would be very
Oh,
good.
it's my
In
favorite.
Yeah, amazing. I'll let you explain it to the audience what those are.
So
But
actually, rebanadas is one of my signature things that I make, and I call it glorified French toast for the Americans to understand. That it's dough soaked in a custard that we fry, and then we toss it in cinnamon sugar, and you are dead on with that's exact like that sweet. Even the granular pieces that you get when you eat into the rebanada would be so complimenting to this because it would just like absorb in your tongue.
yeah, exactly. It's a naughty dessert, isn't it? It's
Oh,
dangerously
we would call it finger licking good.
finger licking good. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think that'd be perfect. That would be a perfect one
Awesome.
for.
Yeah, for more an American dessert, I think something like a lot of people view cheese with port, which I do agree with. And I love cheese for dessert. I love cheese as an appetizer. But if you were to do a dessert, maybe like a cheesecake with like a graham cracker cinnamon sugar crust, so that you're getting
Mhm.
that balance, and the acidity that just hits a little bit of the back of the throat when you're sipping on it, cuts through that fat.
Yeah, I agree. And if anybody would like to, having opened a bottle and their friends, by some miraculous reason, haven't finished it, the next evening, just sitting on the sofa with a bar of chocolate or chocolate truffles, watching an episode on TV, it's a nice way to finish your day.
Yes, and on purpose, I might not let them finish it so I can do that the next day. I should say, my crowd knows that usually I never let anything go to waste. This will definitely not go to waste.
Yeah, no, me too.
Well, thank you so much, Anthony. I really appreciate your time and joining us. Six Grapes is now the top of my list, and I'm just so excited for the holiday season to be, coming to full fruition.
Well, Lauren, thank you for inviting me on. Genuinely, it's great. It's one of my greatest pleasures is sharing what we do with everybody. So thank you for that. And please, next time you're here, come and visit.
I am a person who will take you up on that. I'm probably going in end of April, and Douro River is where I'll be headed. So
Brilliant. I look forward to seeing you there.